We are going to do some more if functions. We're going to do some more combinations with if functions. In particular, we're going to be doing the null and the IsNull and the not functions, right? And I'll show you exactly what those things are. What you'll also notice is that I've had to start my Tableau from scratch because I was playing with the Excel file and I was testing some of the upcoming lessons and I messed up the Excel file accidentally. So it still happens to me after all these years. And what I've gone ahead and done is I've attached an updated Excel spreadsheet in this lesson. So go ahead and download the latest copy just in case anything happens with your original Excel file. I don't think there should be. But just in case, download this fresh one and you should have no issues. Let's open up the Excel file again, sample superstore, and let's load that up. And this time you'll notice that I don't need to use a data interpreter because I put the labels on the very first row, and so it just reads it straight away. We're not going to bother with our connection types. We're just going to leave it live, and let's go into sheet 1. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create some null fields. And null kind of just means empty, right? It doesn't mean zero necessarily. It just means there's nothing in there. Let's have a look into our data. I'm going to go ahead and click this view data button. All right, and we're going to look for the profit column. Let's go over here to the right, profit. Where is profit? Right here. Right, and you'll see that there's a lot of negative values, and there's 0 values, and then there's positive values. I want to create a column that says if the value is below 0, right? So negative 0 or negative, I want it to create a new column saying unprofitable, right? Let's pretend it's in between here, right? I want it to say unprofitable or no profit. And if it's positive 0, we'll say profit, right? But if it says 0, I want it to just be blank. I don't want it to say anything. I just want it to be blank, right? And by blank, I mean null. So you can see all these zeros, we want it to be null. And let's go ahead and do it, and it'll make more sense if you never dealt with nulls. And let's go ahead and create a formula. So again, I can select this profit one, create calculated field. Right, and let's begin with our if function. So if the profit is, let's begin with the first one. Let's do this in stages. So if the profit is equal to 0, right, then I want you to write null, right? And null is its own phrase. So when you do that, you'll see that this null is right here. Okay, null. Else, I want you to write, let's just say, profit maybe. Okay, because we haven't calculated yet whether it's positive or negative. We're just going to check if it's 0. Okay, and then we'll build on this using the else if and the not and is null and all that. So let's go okay. Let's do this profit check 1. Let's go okay. Right, and let's go back into that view data. All right, let's look for profit. Profit. As you can see, we got that profit check, and you can see all these zeros, all these nulls, right? So I'm going to go ahead and select those. And if we go and look for profit, we can find them. You can see that these ones are the ones with zeros. So what it's done is it's looked for and said, if it's 0, I want you to write, where is it? I lost it again. I want you to write profit check 1, null, right? And null just means empty. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we want it to be able to check if it's positive or negative. So we need to be able to do another layer of the if function. And here's how we do it. If I go back into this formula, profit check 1, all right, I'm going to right click on this and go edit. I'm going to go back in here. If it's 0, I want you to write null. Okay, and we want it to do another check. So it's almost like if it's 0, then null. If it's positive, then write something. If it's negative, write something else. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And to do a second if function, we use what's called else if, which means a second criteria. So now we go profit, right? We bring that in. If the profit is greater than 0, right, then we're going to give this a new label. Let's get rid of this, right? We're going to say positive profit, right? Which means we can do a third check, which is else if profit, right, is less than 0, then negative profit, right? And you'll see that there is still an error. And the reason there's an error is because, well, there's that one. But also, in an if function, you need to give it three main things. You got to give it your criteria, your true condition or conditions, and we need to give it a false condition. But because in this case, there's only three types of values, 0, greater than 0, or less than 0, we can just write blank for anything else. So we go else. So we just give the final false. So else, let's just say null again. And then we want to close off the if function, and we go end. And that's it. So let's go through that one more time. If it's equal to 0, then write null. If the profit is greater than 0, then write positive profit. If the profit is less than 0, write negative profit. And you can go on forever, right? You can have as many conditions as you want, and it will cycle through each one until it finds one that's true, and then it will do whatever you say to do in the then after the then function. And if it doesn't meet any of those criteria, it will just say null. Okay, so the else if function is very useful because it can do a lot of criteria, a lot of checks. All right, so let's go OK. Let's go into our view data again. And let's look for our profit check. Here we go. We have, oops, I shouldn't have done that. Right, so we got our mixture. Let's look at some positive profit. Let's mix some together. So positive, negative, positive, right? So if we come over here to profit, where's profit? Positive, negative, positive. And I'll bet you this one, the one above it and below it are null. As you can see, these ones, 0 and 0. So if we come back here, you'll see that it's null. Okay, let's do one more thing. I want to do an if function off the if function I just did. Yes, I know this is not Inception. You can do it in Tableau. And what we do is we use the result that we just calculated, which is this one. And we're going to do a calculation of that. So we can right click this and go create calculated field, and we could check a few things. And let's say I just want to look at whether there was a profit, whether negative or positive, or it was 0. So how do I check for 0? Okay, because I want two outcomes. If it's null, I want you to say no change. And if it's got anything else other than that, I want you to write change. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go if this thing is null, right? I want to check if it's null. And the way you do that is use the IsNull formula. And the IsNull formula checks if it's null and gives it a true or false result, right? Then I want you to write no change, meaning it's null, it's blank, there was 0 change. We'll do it here, else change, meaning that it was positive or negative. And we're going to close off the if function, and we're going to call this profit change, right? And yep, let's go OK. And let's see what that's done. Let's go into our view data. Let's look for profit, and you can see this profit change. Now, as you can see, if it's sorry, let me start that again. If it's no change, if it's null, it says no change, right? See, null, no change, null, no change. If it's anything else, whether positive or negative, it's going to write the word change, as you can see. So there's a multitude of ways you can use your if functions, and we haven't even covered the and or functions, which you can add even like on top of these functions to give you even more functionality. I think I said I think I said function a lot there, but we'll cut it there for this particular video. This is really just to show you how to handle nulls, how to use nulls, how to do formula if functions of other if functions. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you at the next video.